What's up, everybody? I'm David Hain. Welcome to episode 127 of the A to D from Addict to Disciple podcast. If you enjoy this podcast, please like, subscribe, follow, and share the link with your friends, or click on the support link in this episode's description. Your donation of any amount could change a life. If you'd like to get our curriculum, you can get the paperback or ebook of From Ashes to Destiny on Amazon. When we come back, we'll get into this episode entitled Salad Days. Welcome back to episode number 127 of the A to D from Addict to Disciple podcast entitled Salad Days. I know this is a strange title, but the term salad days refers to the periods of a person's youth when life was without worry. The phrase actually originated from the play Antony and Cleopatra by Shakespeare, which includes the line spoken by Cleopatra, and I quote, "They were my salad days when I was green in judgment." So, salad days is an expression that means a youthful time, a period of carefree innocence, of idealism, and all the pleasures associated with youth. If we turn to the Macmillan Dictionary and look at salad days a little deeper, we see that it's decisions that we make that don't show careful thought or good judgment. It talks about that we tend to make decisions or choices like we're on autopilot, and we rely on past assumptions or experiences without considering whether new circumstances point to a different choice. So today I'd like to look at some of the different aspects of salad days decisions by looking at synonyms that we can put instead of salad days before the word decisions. And these may be words that people have called us when they said, "What are you thinking?" Okay? The first one is foolish. I'm sure, like me, many of you have been called foolish for some of the decisions you make. When people say that foolish decision tends to show that you're lacking good sense. And it often happens when we base our decisions solely on our view of the past, and we expect it to always be the same. We could be longing to return to the good old days when life seems simpler. Or possibly, we want people from the past back in our life. But the Bible warns us in Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 10, "Do not say, 'Why were the old days better than these?'" So the first one again is foolish decisions. And I'm saying very often these foolish decisions are fueled by us looking back to the good old days. Okay? Number two is shallow. And this can often be when we're just out to have fun or to find some quick answer to fill a void in our life. Maybe you make shallow decisions when you're bored in your current situation, or just make a shallow decision to try to find something to bring some excitement. We're not interested in serious ideas, strong feelings, or anything that's really important. We just want this quick answer because we're in the shallow end. And this reminds me of the lyrics of Shallow by Lady Gaga. I'll just quote some of them. She says, "I'm falling. In all the good times I find myself longing for change. And in the bad times I fear myself. Tell me something, boy. Aren't you tired of trying to fill that void?" Shaw. Like that song. And can you see how we can make shallow decisions when we're just longing for change? Or we're looking for somebody to fill a void in our life or something to fill a void in our life. Okay, the third one is irresponsible. And I've been called that many times in my life, especially growing up, that I made an irresponsible decision. What was I thinking? And that's sort of the definition of irresponsible decisions. They're ones that are done or said without thinking of the possible results, feedback, or any consequences of your actions or words. So these are really mindless decisions when we don't even think about what we're doing. And these irresponsible decisions often resulted in serious negative consequences to yourself or to your loved ones. And I like the warning in a quote from Mokokoma Mokonanoa, who said, "With great alcohol comes great irresponsibility." So I want to challenge those of you who've been caught up in addiction. What decisions have you made under the influence of great alcohol or a great amount of drugs or just all that irresponsible times in your addiction? What decisions have you made without even thinking? And you didn't think of results or consequences. And where do you go understanding that with great alcohol comes great irresponsibility? Well, obviously, stop making those decisions while you're under the influence, okay? The fourth one is impulsive. And impulsive decisions are ones that we tend to do without thinking about what will happen as a result. And it reminds me of the mantra of the Woodstock era, which was, if it feels good, do it. And that sort of mantra that, if it just feels good, go do it. That led to lots of impulsive, opportunistic decisions by lots of people. And many of them, looking back, were risky decisions, health-wise and safety-wise, and just in so many areas. And an anonymous quote that I love in this area is, and I quote, "Impulsive decision-making reminds me of a squirrel when crossing the street." Sure, like that one. Do you find yourself making decisions like a squirrel and you're just sort of darting out onto the traffic to try to cross the street without getting hit? And you're dodging back and forth. You start out, you back up, you go zigzagging all over the place because you're only looking a few feet ahead of you and not even looking at what's on the other side of the street. Okay. The fifth and last one for today is hasty. And these are when we make decisions in a hurry without careful planning or thought. And this often comes under times of pressure, comes under times where we're just not thinking. And Benjamin Franklin is quoted as saying, "Take time for all things. With great haste comes great waste." So I think if you're caught up in hasty decisions or you feel pressure from someone to make a quick decision, simply speak up and say, "Hey, I want to take some time on this." Because as Ben Franklin said, take time for all things. With great haste comes great waste. And Lao Tzu reminds us, and his quote, "Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished." Can you hear that? We don't have to hurry just because of some artificial pressure. Take your time and everything will be accomplished. So, if you find yourself stuck in salad days thinking, I'd like to close with 5 steps or suggestions that you can employ in your decision making. Are you ready? Number 1, what's your goal? What's your short-term view in this decision? What do you want it to bring to you as far as results or answers or opportunities today or in this short term? Number 2, don't lose sight of your journey. Even though you're making a decision for today, don't lose sight of the long-term view and make sure your short-term decisions enhance your journey, enhance your long-term goals. Number 3, what are your options? Make sure that you list out all the options that are available. All decisions aren't black and white, aren't yes or no. There's often more options than you could ever think of. Number 4, then make a choice on what you feel is the best option that fits your short-term view, your long-term view, and doesn't feel like a salad day in any way. And number 5, evaluate the results, because by evaluating the results, it can help us make better decisions in the future. So I believe that in each of these 5 steps, it's awesome to include your mentor, your coach, your counselor, your sponsor, or a good friend in helping to determine that you are making good decisions. Don't try to make them all on your own. Lean on those around you to help bring wisdom into your decision making and into the timing of your decision making. It's time to move on from the salad days. Thanks for listening to this episode of the A to D from Addict to Disciple podcast. If you would like to join us in an online group or get one-on-one counseling to help you in your salad days, please message me on the link in this podcast or by email at davidfromatod@gmail.com, or go to my website www.fromatod.org and click on the contact page. You can keep in touch with what we're doing in From A to D by following me on Instagram at davidfromatod. Tune in Monday for our next episode, and as always, stay safe and stay strong.